Okay. Lots of questions about hormones, isn't there? Yes. Lots of questions. I just got a few questions, so before we go into bones, I thought I might just answer a few questions. One question was, what happens if you've had a hysterectomy? And what happens if your ovaries are gone and your hormones are out of balance? If they take your uterus and your ovaries, then your adrenal glands make the hormones. What an amazing body we serve. But the reason for the hysterectomy has never been addressed. And so the hormones must be balanced. And that's why taking the Anna's Wild Yam Cream is very important, because it's not... So maybe the hormones are out of balance, and so fibroid was grown in the uterus, cysts on the ovaries, so they take a lot, but they haven't fixed the problem. Because you've still got a hormonal imbalance. So now it'll manifest itself in the breast. So what do? Take the breasts off. When are we going to stop chopping body parts? Balance the hormones. Then the ladies can keep their uterus. Then the ladies can keep their ovaries. Then the ladies can keep their breasts. Because that high estrogen is what's causing that cell proliferator action, so that the growths are happening in these reproductive organs. Yes? Yeah.
Are teens able to use the yam cream, or is that for certain ages of people?
From 9 to 90.
Okay.
Yeah, 92-year-old can do it.
So that cream will take care of everything that is low or uneven, like progesterone?
Well, what it does is it boosts progesterone. And if you boost progesterone, it automatically brings estrogen, testosterone, adrenal hormones back into balance. Because remember what I drew? You've got progesterone, and from progesterone comes estrogen, from progesterone is testosterone, and from progesterone are the adrenals. And so you take this away, and all these are out of balance. But you boost progesterone and it brings all of this back into balance. It's actually that simple. And what I love about the Anna's cream, it's working with the body. It's working with the body systems. So we had a man do our program who had prostate cancer. And he was having a 3-monthly injection to get his testosterone levels down. Because if testosterone goes too high, it converts into a type of testosterone that causes inflammation of the prostate. So anyone with prostate problems, they're trying to get their testosterone levels down. So this man was 65. He'd developed breasts. He was having hot flushes from these hormone injections. So he heard the lecture and he made a decision to start eating plant foods, to stop his coffee and his refined sugar and his red wine every night. He started to go to bed early, the Sustain Me principles, and he applied the Anna's Yam Cream. His wife emailed me 10 months later. She said the breasts have gone down, the flushes have stopped, and his testosterone levels are the best they've been for years. You see, drugs will never heal disease. They never heal disease. But many people take them because they think they have no option. So what you're learning this week is there are alternatives. And to me, the way to bring healing in the body is to work with the healing powers that God has put in the body. Just work with them. That's what makes the most sense. Are there any more questions on hormones? Yes?
How long do you take the yam?
How long do you take the yam? Well, we've got a saying in Australia, how long's a piece of string? If the hormones have been out of balance for 30 years, it might take 3 years.
But you only do it 3 times a month?
3 times a month. Now, one lady said that the week that she stops is very difficult. So what I say, if that happens, go on half dose for that week. So you're playing with a little bit. So there's a little bit of trial and error, Most women find that one finger dip 3 weeks a month is right. But if that week that you stop it, maybe the flushes come, maybe the headaches come, we'll go on half dose for that week. One lady said she got a rash from it. So I say, well, stop for a month, then just put it on the soles of the feet. And I've had a few ladies say they've done that, and after a few months, now they can apply it through the body. So there's a little bit of feeling your way with it, yes?
What would be some signs or symptoms that say a younger girl, like 16 or 17, would need it?
Why would a 16-year-old girl need it? She would need it because she's got heavy periods. She would need it because she's got premenstrual tension. So they're probably the main things. Heavy periods, painful periods. They shouldn't be heavy and they should not be painful. And a girl should not have premenstrual tension. And acne is another sign. Headaches can be another sign. So you see there's a whole lot of different symptoms that a person can have. And sometimes it's a few generations of a hormonal imbalance. So what I advise is go on the cream for 1 year and then stop. And watch. And if symptoms return, what's the body saying? Bit longer. And this happened to one lady. She stopped, symptoms returned, and she'd been on the pill for 7 years, 30 years ago. And a lot of people say, no, that was 30 years ago. But as you saw by my last lecture, they were thrown out of balance 30 years ago and they're still out of balance. So she stopped after a year. The symptoms returned. So she went back on the cream for another 6 months, then she stopped and the symptoms didn't return. So you see, you're listening and you're feeling your way with it. Yes?
I had terribly painful periods until I had a baby, and then it was fine. So does that mean my hormones got balanced when I had the baby?
It's quite possible they were, because do you remember, students, what hormone rises in pregnancy? Progesterone. Progesterone rises 200%. So sometimes after a woman has had a baby, things go a little bit better. Yes?
Having been on the pill for several years, how do you know if your son needs it?
You watch for symptoms. Now, one lady just emailed me and said her little grandson was only 5 and showing signs of puberty. So they started him on the yam cream, and she said it reduced his symptoms by 50%.
What about lack
And
of signs?
I have never seen that, so I was happy for that story. If there are no signs, don't do anything. So remember, you're waiting for symptoms. What another saying we say in Australia: let sleeping dogs lie. If there's no apparent problem, we can leave that. But progesterone is the hormone that stimulates bone-building cells. They're called osteoblast cells. So there are 2 main types of cells in the bone. There's osteoblast. And osteoblast, osteo means bone and blast means new cell. So progesterone stimulates osteoblast cells. Estrogen stimulates osteoclast cells. So osteoclast cells are the cells that take away the old bone. So can you see that if someone's got high estrogen and low progesterone, the high estrogen is taking away too much bone, and the lack of progesterone, there's not enough new bone growing. So everyone with osteoporosis should be on the Anna's Wild Yam Cream to boost their progesterone, which stimulates the osteoclast cells. So many ladies who were on the pill when they were in their teens, 20 years, now they're in their 50s, 60s, and they have osteoporosis. I met a 92-year-old lady who was on the Anna's Wild Yam Cream for